Blog Talk Radio.
Basically.
What the hell is that?
I'm sorry. Well.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Welcome to the Will and Thunder Show.
Well, welcome in, guys. It's another Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's another crazy rockin' show with the Will and Thunder Show. Welcome in. My name is Kevin Thunder. Alongside me here is William Telltale and Christina the Rock Chick. You guys out there somewhere?
I'm here, but who is this Christina?
Yeah, I'm not Christina.
Oh, what the heck am I talking about? Look, you know what? I go and step on my tongue again.
I'm Christiana.
I know that, and look, I just spit it out, and it just felt natural. So for tonight, you'll be Christiana, but in my mind, it's, I don't know, pardon my hallucination there.
Chris is fine.
See, and then I won't get flubbed up. You see, it's the whole thing with the latter part of things that screw me up, like anyway, what a great way to start the show. So anyway, Will, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I feel for you, man. I can definitely see how ladders might, be a major role in your life.
Oh, there we go with the short jokes. And I'm not short. I'm afraid of heights. All right.
Yeah, we got a good show tonight for you. The band Madison Rising will be with us in about 30 minutes or so. Well, actually now about 25 minutes or so they'll be joining us, and they are. I don't know if they're signed to a record label or not, but they're just about as big as any signed band in the United States, unless any not named Kiss or Bon Jovi or something like that. But they they go around spreading the patriotic message, and they support the troops heavily, and they're all about the Second Amendment, and just the principles of the founding fathers and the Constitution and everything. Nope.
Yeah, they're a very, very talented band. 4 guys, man. Actually, the lead vocalist was in the Navy for a number of years, and I like the idea of having your, having some core principles when you're in a band. I mean, to be out there and spread a message. I mean, you've got Christian bands out there, and to have a patriotic band out there, it's about, just kind of spreading the goodwill and the ideas of America. It's a great thing to have out there. There's a lot of country singers who go out there and they do a lot of patriotic things, especially with their music. Nice to have some, rock and roll out there.
Yeah. Well, the rock and roll that has the patriotic message that isn't like totally whacked out and over the top like Sweaty Teddy.
Right. And there's a place, and then there's a way to spread your word and everything, and you can do it through music. That's fine. It's a great concept. As long as you don't go over the top with it as well,
Right. So, Chris, have you looked up? Have you kind of researched them at all? Any?
No, I thought I would wait until they got on the show to kind of hear their music for the first time. I think I heard a song of theirs once, or a snippet of a song that was part of another video that I was watching, but I thought I'd go into this with no preconceived notions or anything like that. So, just
Open
listen to the music
mind
for the
and
first
free.
time. Right.
Well, very cool. That's kind of what I do. Unless I'm reviewing a band for my blog, williamtelltale.blogspot.com. Unless I'm reviewing a band, I'll do that too, and I'll listen to like 30 seconds of their songs just to find out if they're good, and if I want to book them on the show or not, and then I'll hear the bulk of it for the first time. But the difference is I've actually seen Madison Rising in concert, so so it's kind of
It wasn't too long ago that you saw them in concert. It was actually after you booked them on the show and you found out they were coming in concert, but you were already a fan of theirs beforehand.
Well, I found out about them. I never really heard them. I mean, I knew about them because of the well, we'll just talk about we'll talk about that when we get them on the air.
Exactly.
But yeah, I hadn't really heard them until the first time that I saw them. I knew of them. I knew who they were. I knew what they did.
Okay.
And but when I got there, I had heard their version of the national anthem, and that was it. Now I've heard they've got two CDs out, and I've heard both of them, and I dig them.
Well, right on.
So,
Well, we'll go here in about 20 minutes or so. We'll get to know them a little bit better, and so will you guys out there. So what we do usually here in the first part of the show is just do a little warm-up and talk a little bit about what's going on in the rock and roll world, maybe a little bit about football and things like that. So let's talk about the news.
all right, welcome to the This Week in Rock News. that one band in there is awesome. That comes right before Exodus.
You keep bringing that up. I don't know why you keep bringing that up. It's almost like you know who's playing that part.
I don't know. I feel a strong personal connection with that particular riff. I don't know why. Kind of.
I don't know. I thought, to me, that's a part, probably besides, the beginning little whistling part kind of sound. I thought that was about the weakest part of it. I'm just playing.
Damn.
So anyway, today in the news, man.
Hold on. I gotta let Chris know. Chris, that little bit right before the Toxic Waltz by Exodus, that's one of my songs.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So that's his little piece that he had to throw in there for personal gratification.
There's nothing wrong with shameless self-promotion.
No, there's not. And so every time that, it'll come up, about William Telltale at Blog Talk, you'll hear the cha-ching. There you go. A little self-promotion. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Hey, we could do it.
All right,
too, Chris. What's your blog?
Oh, I have a blog, but I don't really do much with it. Most of my writing's over at soniccathedral.com.
That's right. Here we go. Now, you know what I'm going to have to do? As soon as the show's over tonight, I have to get a blog now because I need the cha-chings as well. But anyway, so what do you got in the news today, brother?
Oh, busy week. Actually, this is kind of an older story. It was from the end of August 20th. You all remember a while back, Otis Orungus, a.k.a. Dave Brocky from GWAR, died. Now, Guar
Yeah.
is about to embark on a tour, on a U.S. tour. So,
Oh.
so
Uh,
how does that work?
Now,
You might be wondering.
hold on. Well, yeah.
Ballsack, The Jaws of Death on the Guar Eternal Tour 2014 says to expect dark clouds of war and ill omen have gathered around Guar. In our hours of greatest peril, Otis has left us and our enemies stand poised ready to strike as they sense weakness. But we will no longer cower in our Antarctic stronghold awaiting destiny's final blow. This fall, Guar sets out on the most trying quest of their career. We shall scour our leader's favorite stomping ground, North America, and leaving no city unsearched, no venue unrazed, no sheep unmolested. Guar will finish to the depths of hell, or to the very
Sounds
end
like
of time.
fun.
Yeah. I know we can never return home until we have the answer we seek. Where is Otis Arungus?
I guess they didn't get the memo.
Look, so they're going to go on tour without Otis, of course.
I would imagine that
Are they searching for a new singer? Or?
Well, I don't know, because I know I've seen Guar in concert 3 times, and there were some songs where their manager, Sleazy P. Martini, would come out and sing. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to see him on that tour.
Right. Well, when they said they're on a search, so do you think that it is possibly, town to town searching and, I don't know how that would work. I mean, like the kind of whole, like the Rockstar movie type thing, where they're out
like
looking
they all
for
do nowadays and go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Find a guy on YouTube that's dressed up like Guar, and there you go.
Well, the funny thing is I remember an interview with Guar years ago. This is, I don't know, it may have been on their infamous episode of Jerry Springer, but they said that the great thing about Guar is it's a band that can literally go on forever. So,
well, like Kiss.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
But
they
maybe
kind
they're
of
gonna.
can because no one really knows. They're kind of like Tool. No one really knows what they look like. Even when you look at them on stage, you don't know. If you were to pass them in the street, you wouldn't know it's them.
Exactly.
Well, when I saw them in concert at the House of Blues in Orlando, that was definitely the best concert I've seen of theirs. But after the show, I walk out and there's this scary looking guy. He's selling comic books. Turns out it was one of the stage actors that they had with him up on stage, and he was trying to make a little extra money by selling his craft on tour. more power to him. But I mean they're definitely in a band that could definitely go on forever. Kiss, Guar, and that's really about it.
Yeah, like Slipknot. Slipknot probably could too because they wear masks, right?
Well, Slipknot, I don't really know too much about them, but I do know that their singer has a very distinct voice.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not a fan of any of those bands, so.
Yeah, I mean, and not so much just being a man, but anything can be duplicated. There's people out there who spend hours on hours just trying to be like certain people and sound like them.
True.
Hell, there's people who go through plastic surgery to try and look like other people, which is ridiculous,
Well,
Yeah.
God, let's think of how many classic rock bands these days are still vital or relevant because they found a guy that can pretty much duplicate their original singer or whatever their most popular singer was, like Journey or Styx, etc.
Or Queensrÿche.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Or Queensrÿche,
yeah.
I mean, Journey, especially
They
Journey,
didn't find him
they're
on
the one with that
YouTube,
little.
though, I don't.
No,
That's true.
Journey's the one that's got the little Oriental guy, right?
Yeah, the Filipino guy.
Filipino
Yeah,
guy
and my goodness, and he is, I'll tell you what, he is as spot on as you could ever find.
You know what, the thing, maybe it's because I'm a huge Steve Perry fan, but I can always tell because of his accent I get, and maybe
Really?
it's because I listen to a lot of European music, so maybe that's why I can tell when someone sings with an accent. So
That
that's
might
the
be
only
it.
way
I
I
mean,
can tell him apart from Steve Perry.
I can tell Todd LaTorre apart from from Jeff Tate. I mean, that's
Oh yeah, you can
Um,
definitely tell them apart.
yeah. I mean, there's now telling Todd LaTorre apart from Midnight and Crimson Glory. That's a little more difficult. But that was both Jeff Tate and Queensryche, or Jeff Tate and Midnight were both like tall orders to fill to step in and replace, and he did both of them very well. So
Right. Well, that's another huge news story this week. You know, speaking of Queensryche, I mean, we might as well go there.
might as well. Go ahead.
You know, well, as of September 1st, there are no longer two Queensryches. There is only one, and it's the right one, in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people will hate mail me for that one, but, you know, I think the right group got the name, so, you know, now all the confusion hopefully will abate, and we can all move on with our lives.
Absolutely, and if I had been thinking,
you know,
if I had been thinking, I would have. If I had been thinking, I would have definitely done put a little "there can be only one" drop on there for comments and.
well, you know, and that's a really, I mean, and for Queensryche, it was a big issue. You know, who was going to get the name, who's going to, but you know, that's a really big issue for a lot of bands, especially the older, like we were just talking about. A lot of the older, like classic rock bands are out there. There are so many different variations of certain bands that are out there because if they have one living member of the band, nobody else is an original member, but they can still use the songs and still use the name or portion of the name or something like that. And it kind of gets crazy right there.
True.
You know, I mean, you go see the
Thunder,
Beach Boys.
Thunder, do you know what Jeff Tate's new band is called now that it can't be called Queensryche anymore?
I have no idea.
You want to guess?
Yeah, go ahead and guess. Because you might get it. Just think beating a dead horse or running something into the ground.
Think cover band is what it is.
Think the name
Queen of the Reich.
No, but you're on the right
That would
track.
have been a good one.
That would have been a good one.
Queens of the Reich or something like that.
Well, he can't sing Queen of the Reich anymore. So, no, it was his new band is Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, really?
Which is hilarious because back when this name issue first started, a friend of mine on one of the various music sites that I visit actually said something to that extent. Why doesn't he just form his own band and call it Mindcrime or Empire? And
Right.
Sure enough, you know, who would have known that offhand comment would become reality, pretty much.
Well, the
That's
thing about
awesome.
it is Operation Mindcrime. I mean, I don't know. Jeff Tate's Empire, I think, would have been a better one.
Or even just Tate's Empire.
Yeah.
And then we can all joke around because he's such a douche and call it Tate's Empire.
I think what it is, he's trying to ride that Mindcrime horse until it's in the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
The settlement pretty much says that that's his quote-unquote intellectual property. By God, he's going to milk it until the teats fall off. You know, pretty much.
And and there's got to be a time where you have to, look, man, if you want to be in the music industry, be in the music industry, but move on, man. Move on. Everybody loves Operation Mindcrime. Everybody loves, Empire. Queensryche was, a force back then. Silent Lucidity was played on every radio station in the country for, 2 years straight. You had your right. Move on. Do something else. Come on now.
Well,
I don't want to hear it every once in a while, but, man, come on now.
He's getting to the point at right now to where I think if I never heard Mindcrime again, I'd be all right. And that's sad for me because I really love that album, and it's part of what made them great, but he's just pimped it so hard that it's just, give the poor whore a rest already,
Exactly. He's beating it more than Ike's beat Tina.
Damn it, man.
Man, have mercy. Thank you. I'm here all week.
The thing about it is, the one thing that's going to make it kind of new, I guess, is the fact that he's going to be, playing all of Operation Mindcrime 2, which that didn't get done very much of, primarily because of the fact that it sucked. But
Didn't they do it in its entirety when they made that DVD, Mindcrime at the Moor?
They did, but I mean, they never really toured with it. They never really toured with Operation Mindcrime and Operation Mindcrime 2. Now, but what he's going to do next is start a, what was it, a 3-part concept album? Yeah, with his
Even
band
that's
of
not
scrubs.
new. I mean, Jeff Tate, Timo Tolkie's already doing that. He'll be on part 3 by next year. So you're not even that is original and new. Someone else is already doing it.
Hey, I mean,
Well, No,
maybe
I
it's
don't like
time
it.
it's just
I don't
time for
like
him
the
to go away, man.
No, actually, you know what? And I'm probably going to lose cool points from a lot of people listening when I say this, but he did this vaudeville thing where it was like Jeff Tate in vaudeville, where he was doing like a history of rock. He started in the 60s and everything. He had like dancers and stuff like that. It was basically a revisit of the cabaret show, except it wasn't Queensrÿche material. It was just rock covers. I kind of dig that. I would actually...
Actually, if he did more stuff like that, I would be more inclined to have an interest in it.
Exactly. Well, that's just like, and I know I'm going to lose really, really cool points for this, but anyway, a musician that's overseas was really big for a while that never was big in the United States because he was never really United States material, but he did a Broadway play that I thought he did very well in. And I'm about to get my ass whooped here, but Baywatch, man. David Hasselhoff. Yes, when he did the Jekyll and Hyde thing, now I saw a production of it on, I think it was HBO. This is years ago. But it was actually, look, now I like stage shows, and actually, no, seriously, I like, the real look. No, but I'm saying, he actually did a good job, and he's got a decent voice on him, but it was actually cool watching him do a stage production like that, because that's a lot harder than a lot of people think right there. There's a difference in, going out and singing on a stage in a stadium where everything's mic'd and everything. When you're doing a live stage show like that, and there's acting involved, and the vocals are barely mic'd and all, it's actually, you really have to be able to project and all that. It was actually pretty cool.
Honestly, if Tate still had the pipes for it, I would say that should be more of his shtick, is to do Broadway, off-Broadway type stuff, because that seems like that's where he wants to be, or more of his speed. I don't think he wants to be a metal singer, and that's fine. I don't begrudge anybody that. You grow up, you mature, your tastes change.
Right. Look at what happened with the, it started with the Promised Land tour. They opened with IMI, and he's got like, a paparazzi following him around and ripping his clothes off. That was during the Promised Land. And then,
that was my first tour when I saw them.
Oh, really? Well, my first tour was Empire, when they played all of Mindcrime.
Well, you lucky bastard.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we were at the same show together.
No, we were at Promised Land in Tampa.
Was that I thought that was Minecraft.
No, we were at Promised Land in Tampa. Now, the funny thing about that...
But as a performer, though, Jeff Tate has always been that way. If you look back at their older bootlegs, even before they were headliners, they've always had a dramatic flair to their stage shows, and he's always kind of been in that realm. So I've had many people tell me that. Why isn't he doing Broadway? And this seems to be more of his kind of stuff, and he would be so great.
He doesn't do it anymore.
No, not anymore.
Now, actually would be a great idea if he would sit down with a writer, like a screenplay writer, like a Broadway writer, and to do a Broadway version of Operation Mindcrime, where it would tell more of a story between it. That would be something kind of cool, too.
Then he'd have to give
You know what?
credit
I
to
would
that
pay to
person.
see that. I would pay to see
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
really would. I would pay to see that. But
It would be awesome,
let's
though,
go
wouldn't
ahead
it?
and let's go ahead and wrap the news up because our guest is here. We're going to go ahead and play one of their songs. We're going to start off with their version of the national anthem. And those of you who are unfamiliar with them, this is not a traditional version. So if you're expecting the perfection of Whitney Houston when she sang it at the Super Bowl all those years ago, this isn't it. This is a non-traditional version, but it's every bit as good. And when I saw them
And
standing,
it's 10 times better than, 100 times better than Roseanne's.
I should hope
I need-
so.
I'm just saying.
Thunder. I knew you were
Well,
going
she
to do
sings
that.
better than I
really
do,
did.
so I'm not going to...
But yeah, this is a great version. When I saw them in concert, there were a lot of veterans, current and retired, that were there. That were all standing at attention as they played this, and we'll get into that when we have them on the air with us here in just a few minutes. This is Madison Rising with their version of the Star Spangled Banner, and we'll be right back with them on the Will and Thunder Show.
Oh, say, can
welcome back to the Will and Thunder Show. That, of course, is Madison Rising with their version of the national anthem. And we'd like to welcome them to the show. Who we got? Who we got on the line with us?
We got some people.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome on in, guys. Who do we have here?
Talk at the same time.
That's right.
Hey, what's up? No, it's Dave Bray, just giving you a call. And you know, we built the standing ovation into the tail end of that song, so people really don't have a choice. It's pretty genius.
It absolutely is just, and along with our studio audience, it's the same thing. We bring them along everywhere we go. So
Right on, man. Well, cool. How are you guys making out tonight?
we're doing very well. How are you making it?
Good, brother. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate you sticking your neck out and supporting Madison Rising. It's very rare that you catch anybody doing that anymore because you know what we stand for and being patriots anymore. It's one of those things that's kind of faux pas. We are a counterculture in our own right.
Yeah, they. I was the one that that saw you guys when you had that show in Fayetteville, when it was like 150 degrees and.
I remember that one. Yeah, that was great.
But yeah, that's one thing that impressed me about you guys because of the fact that I've played a bunch of shows in my lifetime. I have never done one in the middle of the afternoon in July anywhere in the South and outdoors, and that's, I felt for you guys. I really did.
Well, the key is hydration, my brother. Plenty of water. Yeah.
So if you would kind of tell us about the we just played the national anthem. What's coming up? I mean, for our listeners who might not have heard from you, you guys are the only act to ever perform in the over at Fort McHenry in front of the original draft of the Star Spangled Banner. Am I right?
Yeah, well, okay, first off, I'll give you a quick rundown. The other guy on the line is Sammy Bones Jones. Hey, Sam, how you doing, buddy, by the way?
Hey, yeah, I just realized I didn't quite announce who I was.
No, he doesn't. Everybody's kind of like, who's that guy all of a sudden? But no, that's Sammy. He's our drummer. He's the only other guy on stage that really sweats anywhere near as close as I do in the 145-degree temperatures that we played in this summer. But and my name's Dave, and I'm the singer. We a couple years back, I think it might have been 2012, that we were actually invited by the Maryland Historical Society to come down and play in front of the actual document. And then we also went down to we raised the actual Star Spangled Banner, not the original flag, but a replica that they put up and down at Fort McHenry. We actually had the opportunity as a band to raise that obviously a monumental flag. But as we come into the 200th anniversary of that song, I think that's kind of the most important thing that we need to kind of remember this day and age is, that patriotic message and that sort of feeling of victory and defiance that song represents is what this country is all about and what it was based on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, well said.
Cool.
And exactly. I mean, kind of going to stand back in awe, behind the inspiration right there. That's unbelievable. And, I mean, you guys did the Star Spangled Banner. We'll turn me on to your rendition of America the Beautiful also. Both non-traditional to an extent. Very, very cool the way you guys came around. What was your inspiration in when you did your rendition, your writing of the Star Spangled Banner? I mean, I know you guys are a rock band, and I've heard other people play the Star Spangled Banner, or you have a guitar player that does it. You guys actually went full out there and, made a full song, kind of twisted it just a little bit, but you got the whole idea right there. What was your writing inspiration when you guys threw that together?
Well, I mean, we wanted to recreate the song, basically to give it a fresh coat of paint because it was starting to feel like every time it was being sung, it was this sort of a death march, and it lacked a feeling of celebration. But we also wanted to keep that reverence. We understood that it had become that because it had been sort of magnified by reverence. And, there's nothing wrong with that older school version, like you said, the Whitney Houston version, very classical, very reverent. But since the days of Jimi Hendrix, nobody's really touched it with the electric guitars and done any justice to it. So that's basically what we wanted to do. We wanted to recreate it, but we also added that little piece in the middle, and that's what actually gives it that opportunity to breathe out and become a rock song, is that, that little stanza where we go into that, we are the brave, and, we'll fight tyranny. And that's again, another huge faux pas when it comes down to the Star Spangled Banner, and it was one of the biggest hurdles we got, ourselves into, was actually in the right. But, changing the words to the song is something that a lot of people look down upon, but once they actually realized what we were saying, why we were saying it, why we were doing it, they understood, and they said, this is a great version, and, we're proud to play your song. So that's what it was meant to do, was reinstill that pride in America and, get a little rock music in them to shake them up.
I actually think that's very cool that that you guys did your own take on it, because as a society we are a melting pot, and it shouldn't, the national anthem should not be done only one way. It should have different takes on it by whoever's singing it. I think that's a cool idea, because it does represent, that we are a country built of different kinds of people and different cultures and different tastes in music, and it shouldn't be just one way, because after a while people do get burnt out on hearing it the exact same way all the time.
And it's interesting to note the melody's based on a drinking song, actually. So, it's...
Good songs are, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people, I think, forget that. So when you bring that up and you say, well, they kind of just threw the melody to a drinking tune, it's like, all right, well, as long as you treat the words with respect, I think you're good,
Right.
And that's what it is.
By the way,
as long as you treat it with respect.
Hold on a second. We haven't done our introductions. I mean, I'm Will, you're Thunder, but we, everybody knows that. But we have a new member, guys. This is Miss Christiana Sky. She writes for the Sonic Cathedral website about female lead vocal or female musicians in heavy metal. And she's joined our cast, and we're proud to have her. So we just wanted to give you a formal introduction to her. Say hi.
Welcome.
So I want to hear her take on what she thinks about Emily Armstrong. That's really all I care about.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
She's
you gotta look her up.
You are going to find out. You're going to find out. If you
Well,
don't know Emily
I don't
Armstrong,
have those kind of interests, if you know what I mean.
No, she's.
But I'm more curious to know that two guys in a band named Sammy and Dave can actually get along. I'm fascinated by this.
Oh man.
Here we go.
You know what? That's
Yeah, you've never heard that one before, right?
That's a
No, that was the first time.
Well, and before we go any further, real quick, Dave, you spent a couple years in the Navy there, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a Navy guy. My dad and also my brother are all enlisted Navy men. We all served.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I also ended
that's
up,
what is exactly what I was going to say, is thank you for your service.
Yeah, no doubt. And I appreciate that support. And right now, I think our servicemen and women are really. I didn't want to get into this. I didn't want to get into the politics of this, but the men and women of Vietnam sort of had to come home to a disgruntled society of people that were a little less than happy to see them come home because of the news that they had been, delivered back home. And when they got home, a lot of people never even welcomed them home. What's even worse, and I don't even want to bring this up, man, but the men and women that have served overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, as they watch all the towns that they had cleared and basically liberated be overtaken, it's as they have to sit back at home and remember their fallen brothers and sisters that they lost during those those precious wars in Fallujah and different places in Iraq and in Afghanistan. They're met with their own sort of different emotions, and I think no matter what the war, no matter what the cause, as long as it's for America, I think we need to remember that. And for you guys to say thank you, I greatly appreciate that. But actually, go out and find somebody who really put it all on the line, and thank them. And as much as any and all veterans of all foreign militaries or all wars deserve to be thanked. I really think it's this recent sort of group that really needs a little special attention right now.
Actually, I do like
Absolutely.
that over in recent years that people have been more appreciative towards the military and what they do. Because my uncle served in the Marine Corps for 23 years, and so I grew up in a military family, and it's only been over the last, I'd say, 10, 15 years that you get people that will approach you, not me, but people, people in my family and say, thank you for your service and thank you for what you do. And, like you said about guys in Vietnam, one of our dear friends is a Vietnam vet, and, he's told us many stories about how, they were basically shunned after all of that and, looked at unfavorably. And I think that it's really good that no matter where you stand on your political side, most people nowadays are very thankful or supportive of the troops, even if they don't agree with war or whatnot. And I think that's a very cool thing, that people are being more appreciative of what our military does and, how they put their asses on the line for you and me and
absolutely
do what we want.
Exactly, and that's another thing that Madison Rising does on very often. We travel and tour with the Concerned Veterans for America. Many of our songs, we have a bunch of songs about the fallen soldiers, or those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and the soldiers of America today. It's part of, in my opinion, the patriotic movement that we are sort of starting to create within music. Something that's sort of been around in country for a while, but nobody's really grabbed it by the what do they call it? The proverbial
Horns.
Yeah, and nobody's taken it by the horns and really rocked it out and really showed it the way needs to be done. I mean, you're actually starting to see some of the other major bands that are around right now start to talk about it and open up to some of these subjects and things that Madison Rising has been doing since we started. So it's kind of cool to see it moving in the right direction and for that sort of those thanks to be given.
And as Christiana was saying, and I agree with her 100%, things have kind of made a turn for the better when it comes to the way that the American public does look at our servicemen. I see it not on a daily basis, but quite often. We have two National Guard troops right around where I live, and I work in the restaurant business. I'm a bartender, and when we have servicemen in and out of there, I see it time and time again. People will pull me aside. Don't give that soldier a check. I'm taking care of that. And then go over there and shake their hand and say, listen, man, you know what? This is the least I can do for what you do for me. You give me the right to come out here and choose where I want to go to eat and do what I want to do on a daily basis. Let me do a little something for you to say thank you.
Amen, amen.
That's cool you're saying
And, when you see that, it kind of gives you chill bumps, because you have no idea what they see over there until you've been a part of it.
Right.
And, just what they've given up. I've got veterans in my family as well. And, I've had, thank goodness, I haven't had a family member who's fallen in war. But I remember when my grandfather was put to rest. And he was buried in a memorial, in a Veterans Memorial Cemetery. And they did the 21-gun salute. And just the feeling you get right there. First you have the sadness, but you have the pride right there. This is my grandfather, and they're giving him a 21-gun salute for the service he did. I mean, it's such bittersweet.
Yeah.
Well,
I thank you. Thank your family members as well. And, again, I think what we're seeing more and more, after 9/11, there was that sort of come together of the nation. We sort of put down what side we were on, or kind of our political beliefs, and we came together as a country. Right. We're coming up on that date shortly, and we're also coming up on the 200th anniversary of the Star Spangled Banner. And I think that those two dates kind of are so close to each other, for obvious reasons. A lot of the attacks that were launched on September 11th by the British, are also relevant to the September 11th attacks that we had in 2001.
Sure.
We're coming around now where we have a viable threat on our borders. We have a threat now coming out of overseas. We have this ISIS deal, and we're seeing more and more of that. And I think what we're realizing is that politics and politicians are not going to be the ones who save our country. It's going to be the men and women, our patriots, that are going to come together, and they're going to stand for what this country really, really is all about. And it's not going to be our politicians. But we do have in place an initiative to help, because we have the midterms coming up, and we're calling it our Hero Initiative. And our song is called Hero, and it basically goes out to any of those politicians that are seeking a seat, in our midterm election this year coming up, we want to offer out our song Hero for them to use as their campaign song. And we don't just want one candidate to use it. We want any of the candidates that feel the same way about our beliefs politically to use it. And that way when people hear them using it on their websites, they can have all the downloads they want. When they hear them using it, they know who to vote for. It's one of those things that, oh, they're in line with this belief. I trust them. I will vote for that person. That's how we want to work that song. So if anybody's out there, any of the listeners, that are out there running for office, political chairs, please, get in touch with us at MadisonRising.com, and we want to offer you that song to use on your website.
Use the song.
Well, that's very cool. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. When we take our next break, when we play the next song, I have Open Road, and I have the America the Beautiful. I will go ahead and pull and rip one of the, rip Hero off of my CD of you guys, and I'll upload that, and we'll play that too. And I've got the people, Tom Tillis' office, running against Kay Hagan here in North Carolina, contacting me, about twice a week via email and like once a week on the phone. So I'll make that phone call and get them to see if I can get them to use that.
Very cool.
But the one cool thing you said right there, which I really appreciate there, is you said that this threat that's coming over, that the solution to it is not going to be the politicians, which I agree 100%, because I think right now the politicians we have, whatever the letter behind their name is, are just playing playground politics right now on who's right and who's wrong, and not worrying about America as a whole, period. I think it's become a shoving game back and forth too much, and that actual core values on both sides have dropped so much that, they really don't even know what they're fighting for anymore, or what they're arguing about.
Well.
So, it's kind of, and I think the American people, it's time for us to get back to the reality of things, and no matter what side you're on, think about who you're voting for and what you're voting for. Don't be idealistic and unintelligent about it. Do your research to an extent and figure out where you really stand. The one great thing about our country is you have a choice to make, but the point of the matter is make an intelligent choice. Don't do what your neighbor does because you think your neighbor's got everything made.
Right, because he's got a cool sticker on his car, right? Yeah.
It's kind of like that picture. It's kind of like that picture that's been going around Facebook and the internet of the Patriot that has the donkey and the elephant by the scruff, and the caption reads, "Enough of both of you," or I've heard enough out of you both. If I find it, I'll send it to Will. But I like that sentiment. It's just I get tired of both sides always saying we're right and being more concerned about being correct or being the winner of this invisible game rather than caring about what the people want.
True.
Exactly. Or what's best for the people. Exactly. And then it goes both sides. It goes either way right there, and it's nice actually to have you guys who, you have your ideals set, and you guys are out there and you're putting it out, but you're not going out there with a political agenda, so to speak. You're out there, first of all, being patriots and saying, I love this country. This music is about my country and my love for my country. And then you put your ideals with it. True.
So, that's basically, if you go through, you can go through the titles of a lot of our songs. We have songs about the Navy SEALs. We have songs about, again, I said the Fallen Soldiers, called Hallowed Ground 1 and Hallowed Ground 2, our song Hero. And we also have, America the Beautiful is another rendition. So, I'm going to have to, actually, I have to step off. I have another interview tonight, so it's 10 of, and I got to roll. But thank you guys so much for having me on. Sam, I hope you're going to take over. Yep,
yeah,
no doubt.
I'll hang in. I'll chat you guys.
All right, guys. Be
Thanks
well.
for hanging out with us.
No doubt,
Thanks,
man.
Dave.
I
Thanks
really
for being with us, Dave, man. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right,
All those
we
people.
still got, yeah, our studio audience loves you guys.
I that's awesome. I wish I was there in studio so I could enjoy it. See everybody.
Exactly. We pay them well. They're here every week, man.
They've got the applause thing down to a science. I mean, it's like everything's perfect, just like a band would do it.
Exactly, you know.
Cool. You mentioned what was one of the songs you mentioned? You had "Open Road." That's one of my favorites for sure.
Okay, well let's go ahead and break, and we'll play "Open Road." I've already got "Hero" uploaded, and we can play that. We can play that in a little bit.
Cool.
But let's go ahead and break, and we'll come. Excuse me. We'll come back with Sammy from Madison Rising.
Wheels in the open road. Got the throttle wide open. Feel my pace. Got 100 horses between my legs. No destination, no end in sight. Just me in the open road, riding into the moonlight. On my two wheels, all that I see. White lines and gasoline. Life is a fast lane, easy to maintain. Just twist the throttle on back and feel no pain. From the open highway, backward to the country. Well, it's free or die, it's the only way. On my two wheels, all that I see is white lines and gasoline. White lines and gasoline. White lines and gasoline. Two wheels in the open road, life and death in my own hands. I am my own justice, I am my own man. I never look behind all that I have seen. It's all in the air. White lines and gasoline. White lines and gasoline. White lines and gasoline. White lines and gasoline.
Right, welcome back to the Will and Thunder show. We've got Sammy, the drummer of Madison Rising, with us. That song was "Open Road," and one thing that I remember from the show that I saw from Madison Rising back in July was Dave said right before you guys played that song in particular that he used to have a Harley, but he had to sell it to help release the album.
Yeah, Dave used to own one. Anytime we're on the road, he likes to try to find an opportunity to ride, and it's great. I really need to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I need to get a license and everything. I just can't tell my mom about it.
You see, look, at least it's easier for you. You can't tell your mom about it. I can't tell my wife about it. So I don't know. I don't even know where I keep my motorcycle. And look, man, I've got a 2.5-inch goatee tattoos all over me, and everybody thinks I'm like this big Harley rider. And they're like, so what kind of bike do you ride? I'm like, a Schwinn. It's ridiculous, man.
great.
Dude,
No,
my
there's
wife
something-
won't, but, it's like my wife won't let me. That's crap, man. 40 years old, my wife won't let me. Come on now. But anyway, and now another thing about Sammy here, which I noticed on the bio, and I don't know if it's still true, but from the bio said, you're an available man.
We threw that on there. I've been single for pretty much my entire life, so just I guess being on the road now, especially, it's kind of tough to settle down, really.
I was
right
going to
now
give a shout out to the ladies, man. To let the ladies know, man. Come check Sammy out.
Where I'm from, there's too many liberal-minded women here. It's not working out. So, but it's a good.
On one note, depending on what kind of liberal-minded they are, is good or bad.
Well, opposites attract.
True, very true.
But anyway, so you're the one half of the percussion.
Yeah,
well,
of the rhythm section, I guess you could say.
That's right, man. How's your connection with your bass player, man?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I mean, we got Tom DePietro on bass, and me and him, like two peas in a pod when it comes to music. Tom's been with us for maybe coming up on half a year now, and it's just a solid connection. When I'm playing the drums, it feels as if every time I hit the bass drum, that a bass note is coming out of the drum. It's a great feeling when you can find, as a drummer, when you can find a bass player that is just grooving right with you. So,
and likewise, as a bass player,
You're making thunder here, cream his jeans.
Look, man, I'm a bass player, bro. I'm a bass player, and it's the exact same thing, man. So when you play a drummer, that you don't even have to turn around. You know when they're going to run, throw a run at you, and you just feel it coming, bam, and you can run with them. And same thing. I mean, you're constant with the bass drum, and I mean, I've had one drummer that I played with that me and him were, we were connected by the mind. And when you get that connection in a rhythm section, there's nothing like it, man. Nothing like it.
It's amazing. And it's, we've had people say to us that, like, seeing the band perform live is just a must. Like they say, like, oh, the recordings are great, but when I see you guys live, the energy, and I think it's a testament to just, how tight everybody is, on that stage.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That was just a question I was going to ask. Since there's been so much emphasis on your lyrical content and the type of music you do, I'm actually curious. Who are your influences when you started doing music? What bands did you look up to, and who are your influences as a drummer, or et cetera, et cetera?
For sure. Let's see. So, I mean, you've got the legends, of course. Led Zeppelin and The Who. I mean, we actually recently opened up for Aerosmith, believe it or not, and getting to see those guys rock out in their mid-60s was pretty amazing. So Aerosmith, definitely an influence. I'm also into a lot of alternative rock too. So Incubus, I really like them.
Love Incubus.
Yeah, that drummer is amazing. I'm really into Mastodon, which is kind of like a progressive metal band. Screaming Trees, Screaming Trees are from Seattle, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
They were coming up right when when Nirvana was taking off. They kind of got over.
Oh yeah, they're a really good band.
Oh, great band.
I was actually going to say your singer reminded me a lot of like the not necessarily the Seattle bands, but something like a little bit reminiscent to me. This isn't. No. I was going to say more Puddle of Mud or Stained, and I didn't mean it as an insult by any means.
No, not at all. I mean, there's a reason those bands have had successful careers. You know what I mean? Some people like them, some people don't. But yeah, no, Stains has a few tunes that I like. Chevelle has a couple of tunes I like. Yeah, kind of in that hard rock realm. Nine Inch Nails, you know, all that. I know Dave really loves Rob Zombie. So there's a whole bunch of influences. I'm into funk music as well. So Sly and the Family Stone, going way back, you know.
Going way back, if you want to hear a bass player that's ridiculous good, I have to bring it up. He brought up the funk, man, and he is the funk master.
Go ahead.
I had to. Look, he is a god on the bass guitar.
Who is it?
And Louis Johnson.
Louis Johnson? All right, I'm going to check him out.
The best slap bass player you will ever see in your life.
Yeah, slap bass is great. I mean, and I think that's what's really interesting about, you know, even Madison Rising. Like, we just recorded 2 new songs in the studio. I'm not going to say what they are because I want to keep the suspense, but we just came out of the studio last week, and the songwriting process, you start to see the different influences coming forth from each band member. Everything from chord progressions, you know, down to rhythmic choices, and it's a growing process. So I think, you know, pretty soon you'll be hearing a song, and like the Star Spangled Banner, you'll be like, that's Madison Rising, you know.
That's the one thing that I really enjoyed about being in a band. I mean, you can sit around your house and you can play your drums as long as you want to, and, you know, listen to other bands play, and you can only go so far. It's as soon as you get into a room with a couple other guys, when you start bouncing ideas off each other, and it's, as you said, the different influences, the different, you know, ideals and different styles, where you really progress as a musician.
Yeah,
you know,
learn a lot.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like anything else. If you go to school and you do a book report, everybody reads the same book, but every book report's going to be different. Everybody has a different view on everything. And when you put a group together and do a book report, it comes out totally different again. So it's so awesome when you get the musicians together, and you sit there and you've been playing this, so you've got a lick you've been playing for a while. And then the bass player comes and goes, well, all right, well, what if you double tap on the hi-hat here and throw me a run right here? It just evolves into something bigger and better.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Hey, Chris.
Very cool thing.
Chris.
Yes, I'm here.
We've got a drummer and a bass player. We're screwed.
You guys are done right there.
I'm actually having fun listening to this because it is true. You know, even when you have the same influences, nobody hears music the same way when you guys get together. And, you know, you have, let's say you both have the same favorite bands. You both pick out different parts of the songs that move you and you know, that you find interesting. So I think that's very cool.
Well, I think it's really cool too. But I was just busting on thunder there for a second. So.
Well, you know, hey, look, man. We don't have this, you know, opportunity much. You know, it's usually the lead singer or the guitar player. So now that we have a drummer and a bass player that can go back and forth and talk about, you know, how the rhythm really is a part of the whole thing right there, that, you know, it holds the whole song together. we don't have to deal with egos right now.
Well, it's not a perspective people get to hear that often, you know. So I'd say it's cool.
You know, we're humble musicians who really love the idea of, you know, how music comes together. We're not like, oh, I can play that too. I can play that too. I can hit that note. I can hit that note. Come on now. We were actually, look, we were talking music. We were talking music. We weren't sword fighting.
Right. It's true. What I find interesting to relate the music back to the message, of course, is that, I don't know if you've had this experience, guys, but there are times where I've heard a song on the radio, and I'm like, oh, man, that song's great, you know, and then I'll go home, I'll listen to it a little more, and then I'll look up the lyrics of the song, because sometimes I don't even notice what the lyrics are at first. So I'll go back, and I'll look them up, and I'll say, oh, my God, that's what he was saying? Whoa. And I think that's such an interesting thing, I think, with Madison Rising, is that, you know, there are certain songs where we've had people come up and say, man, you know, like, I was really digging the groove on that song, and it wasn't until now that I realized, like, what those lyrics were during the second verse, and I love the song even more now. You know, so
Very cool.
I think that's a really cool experience that, you know, some people listen lyrics first and then music, and some people listen music first and then lyrics. It's just kind of a cool observation that you know, I've noticed.
And in the same aspect in music. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Will. I've been shutting you out. Go ahead.
That's all right. You're in bliss right now. I get it.
Yeah, look, man.
Hey, Sammy. A few months ago, we had this guitar player, this shredder guy. I mean, this guy's up there in the ranks of like Yngwie Malmsteen, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, people like that. And you know, me and him were just like going back and forth. It was just kind of like a match made in heaven. It's like our musical influences were identical and everything.
I hung up the phone. Was calling preachers. I mean, I thought they were going to get married. I mean, really. I mean, I'm like, look, man.
That's good.
Anyway, I had I mentioned before you guys came on that that there was a certain news event that kind of made me aware of you guys, and that of course was the Cliven Bundy situation. You guys went and set up and played there. Now, I'll go ahead and give a brief, you know, for those who might not know what that was. Basically, it was.
And when he says brief, 30 minutes later, we'll talk about it.
No, I'm
Just kidding.
It was
now it's my turn to bust your balls, buddy.
It was an attempted.
It goes both ways there, Cupcake.
It was an attempted land grab by the federal government of a private citizen's land. Now, and it made national news, and there was there was talks of civil war starting as a result of this. I mean, everybody went down there. Every civilian, every person who stands up for the Second Amendment and the Constitution of the United States that was able to get there was there. And you guys went there and set up and played a show. You know, you gotta tell me about that. You gotta tell us about that. That was
pretty wild.
I would have loved to have been there for that.
Yeah, we let's see. All right, so we'll start 2 days before we went to Nevada, and we didn't have enough money to get the plane tickets last minute. So we actually did some crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, and within 1 day, our fans were able to raise enough money to get us out there last minute and do this show. And I think that was just a huge testament to the fans that we have. Like, if you're listening, like, this is why we continue to do what we do with the support of the fans. I can't stress that enough. So we get there, and they got this like flatbed truck set up. It's like real long. Like, we spread out across the whole thing, set up drums, bass, guitar, and we played for about an hour and 35 minutes. We just, you know, it was very peaceful there, which the media, of course, they like to distort things, and the media is saying, "Oh my God, you know, it's a war zone," and you know. But when we were there, it was a bunch of patriots. They just wanted to have a good time and celebrate this country, and you know, just spread a positive message. So that's what we did, and I think it really brought people together. I had the best hamburger that I've ever had.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was what that was about. It was a really cool thing, and like I said, the media just. I mean, I don't know if I should get started on the media, but you know, a lot of the.
Well, I mean, the media, it's the way it is. I mean, no matter which channel you turn it on, it's going to be expanded on which way they want you to see it. One of the greatest things I've seen on the internet is, you know, talking about how the media puts things into a perspective they want to. There's a picture, and it shows an Arabic person on their knees with his mouth open, and it shows a soldier standing over him with a rifle. And it kind of looks like the rifle's pointed at his head, but if you expand the picture and see what else is going on there, it's just him standing there behind the guy, and there's another soldier in front of him with a cup of water helping him.
Yeah.
So what it is, when they straighten the picture down, it shows you what they want you to see of this is how evil, this is a war, but then when it opens up, it shows, you know what, this is actually, a humanitarian thing where they're, giving some water to somebody. And it's just, that's just the way it works right there. They want to show you what you want to see, or they want to make it more than it is. And that's what's so sad. The greatest thing in our country right now is we have so much media, and we have the ability to see things within seconds. We didn't have that before, and you didn't have all the information. The problem today is you have too much information, and it's clouded information.
Yeah, there's a whole lot. It's a jungle out there in cyberspace.
Now, but hold on. Before I chime in, Chris, do you have anything that you want to add?
Oh, I'm just listening. I'll jump in if I've got anything.
No, we're she's new member to the cast, so we're getting used to her. She's getting used to us. So I mean, we're
getting used to having three people on. Yeah, used to getting three people on, and the jumbling out of the way. Me and you don't have the jumbling out of the way yet. It's going to be harder, with a third person. When we get this done.
Yeah,
it's actually been pretty easy. I haven't had to bust up any fights yet, or
not yet.
Don't give us time.
Not yet. Right?
Or put anyone in a corner.
Yeah. You're going to be the new mom on the show right here. And actually, we've done pretty well. I mean, because Will and I, we've known each other since we were about 4 years old, and we're both in our early 40s right now. So we both have been there, done that, and we've had a few scraps in there, haven't we, brother?
Yeah. But I mean, you guys have, I mentioned in my blog, my write-up of you guys' album and the show that I saw in Fayetteville. You guys have played all over the place, like NFL halftime shows, NASCAR, opened for Leonard Skinner, Toby Keith, Kansas, Steppenwolf. You've also been on Fox News and The Blaze and other things like that. Now, the thing about it is, I mean, if you really get down and and read some of the comments on YouTube about your stuff, I mean, I'd say probably 60% of it is positive, but that 40% is downright nasty. I mean, do you guys read that stuff?
Well, I don't know if it's 60-40, but I've read through some of it. I think I'm at the point in my life I take everything with a grain of salt, and you got to realize that you're not going to please everybody.
True.
We feel that we do the Star Spangled Banner, as Dave was saying before. We feel we do it with the utmost respect, and the many positive reviews and positive feedback we have received is testament to that. We even had a guy from England who was like, "Hey, I'm from England, but after hearing your version of the Star Spangled Banner, I think I'd like to be an American now." So, like, when you hear stuff like that, wow,
that right there is
really cool.
That's a compliment there.
It's on YouTube. It's on there, I promise you. But
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so
isn't that
cool.
YouTube in a nutshell? You're always going to get haters.
Yeah, there's always going to be guys who hate on it, and that's just, it's like, okay, that's the great part about being in this country is you have every right to feel a certain way about something, and I'm not going to...
Exactly.
You're
not going to get your head chopped off for saying you don't like this.
My point for bringing that up wasn't to say, "Hey, people hate you." No, it was the fact that it was the fact that that some that like I mentioned in my blog post, people on the right hand side.
Will you blogspot.com? I'm sorry.
And I'm not by my board, so I can't give myself the ka-ching sound right now. But anyway, and now you derailed me. Damn it.
I'm sorry.
No, but basically, you have people, on the right hand side, the conservatives and everything. They try to do entertainment and stuff like that. But I mean the like for example, the movie that I brought up in my review was the American Carol movie, which was a conservative twist on Christmas Carol, That came out, I guess, probably back in 2000, several years ago. And it just wasn't good. The movie was horrible. And I mean, it had its moments. It had its moments. It had about 5 or 6 zingers in it and everything. But for the most part, the movie wasn't good. So, and the problem therein is that they're trying to inject a message into it and everything to identify it as a conservative type movie. They're going to get it right eventually, but it's going to take some time. I mean, I for example, I'm a big Stephen King fan. He's one of the biggest liberals out there. Same thing with the band Queensryche. I mean, God, they're a very political band in some of their songs and everything, and they're as just about as left wing as it comes. And I love their music, but
on a lighter note, can I say something before we get way past this point? The one point I wanted to bring up with this guy from England who said, you know what? After hearing your version of Star Spangled Banner, I want to become an American now. That right there, speaking of movies, that is as impressive as the speech after Rocky beats the Russian in Rocky 4.
Oh, don't get me started on the Rocky movies. Oh, my God.
Look, man, I love Rocky.
I love Rocky.
So right there with him going, after hearing that song, I want to be an American, is just like Rocky saying, if we can get along, why can't the whole world get along? That's as impressive, but real world. I'm just saying.
Right.
I had to put it out there because that's what hit me. As soon as you said that, I'm like, dude, that's like Rocky, dude.
That's awesome.
So right there, you can put that on YouTube. You don't have to tag my name or anything. Just put it up there. It's cool, man.
Well, this interview will be on YouTube tonight, so it's all good.
But seriously, that's what I'm saying right there. And
I like it.
And honestly, and talking about how the conservatives make their entertainment versus how the liberals make their entertainment. The great thing, about this whole thing is that we have the right to be able to do that. You have the right to write your music and put your message out. Other musicians have their right to put their music out. And it's the guys out there right now that are in Afghanistan. My wife's cousin, who's been over there 3 times. Man, he's been to Afghanistan, Iraq, and God bless America, my brain just stopped working.
Somalia?
Not Somalia. It's not as. God bless America. It'll come to me here in a second. But he's been over there 3 different times. It's about him going over there and making sure that we have the right to keep doing that.
Right.
You know what? If you don't like President Obama, if you don't like President Bush, if you have the right to say, you know what? I think he's a fucking idiot. And you can sit in the middle of any square, any town, any city, anytime you want to. Without getting your head cut off.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing.
It would be un-American. It would be un-American to not question what some of the things the president is doing. You know what I'm saying?
And that's any president, really.
It's the way it is. Here it is. But we have that right to do that. And that's what's beautiful, man. And that's, when you guys going out there and flying an American flag instead of the devil horns while you're playing your rock music, it's awesome. A lot of countries, man, you have to listen to whatever they put on, what they decide to put on the radio.
Well, it's kind of like that here, but, we can still listen to what we want.
There's a little difference there. We're not listening to sitar, the sitar all day long. But you know what I mean here. And that's the greatest thing about this country. And that's the great thing about you guys is using your ability to do what you want to get your point across.
Yeah,
right.
I guess you could say putting our talents to good use.
Absolutely.
I was actually, I was telling this to Will when he was explaining to me a little about your music and what you guys do, and I told him then, I said, I really don't, for me, it doesn't matter what your personal beliefs are, as long as you're out there and you have something of substance, because there's so little music out there of substance. Whatever your message is, I'm just glad that there's people out there that are want to write lyrics that make you think or teach you something or, give a different perspective other than, oh girl, I love you or whatever.
Right. Or like Beck back in the day, who, Beck would write any words that rhymed together that came up with a couch and a bug eating, a termite eating sawdust, and you done listen to the song, like, oh, that was a good song, but what the was he talking about?
Oh, I love him too. I mean, yeah, but it's
and I do too,
right.
but I mean, you look back, there's certain songs and certain bands out there who have put forth music that have actual meaning behind the words and, their ideals and stuff like that, which I think that's great music right there. And when you have to sit there and use your frontal lobe to listen to a song and understand it, that's fantastic.
Well, yeah,
there's a lot of bands out there that just, right, you have the hip-hop movement that, talks about booties and whatever.
Well, I mean, the thing is, back in the 80s, there was rap music that was like that did make you think.
Right.
Some of it did try to be political or social, and it's just gone to this weird place that I don't even know what the hell it is. But just a few minutes ago, as you were talking about being a musician and enjoying listening to the bass and music. I'm a writer. I like to read or hear good lyrics. I like music that tells a story or that has something more to offer than just, very banal shit. I like music that says something, even if it's not something I necessarily agree with or am interested in. I respect that somebody has taken the time and the effort to want to make music that people like myself would want to hear. That people out there do care about what their lyrical content is, and that they want to be something more. What I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but
more than noisemakers.
Something more going on. Yeah, to have something more going on than just throwing together words that rhyme or writing about the same stuff that everybody else always writes about.
Yeah,
right.
No, it's true. It's true. I like your point about the hip-hop stuff because I'm a big hip-hop fan as well, believe it or not. And I was really into, like, Dr. Dre back in the day, talking, like, 90s, when,
NWA.
NWA and all that, and there was this was a very socially conscious kind of thing where, like you're saying, they rapped about stuff that it was real, and now
what was going on, really?
Now it's all about the girls in the club, and it's mindless. So, yeah, Madison Rising is music with meaning. It's music for people that want something more than just, hey, girl, like that.
Right.
Or you a stupid hoe, you a stupid hoe, you a stupid hoe, you a stupid hoe.
And it's not, and honestly, it's not just hip-hop that does that either. I mean, the rock genre has had, especially since the, mid-'90s through now, have had, bands out there that, it's just nonsense half the time.
Yeah.
Or they're whining about, oh, I'm going to cut myself because my girlfriend left me. It's like, grow up and get a job and shut up already.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, we've all been through that.
Yeah.
I mean, so, to put something down that actually means something is great, That whole thing with, like, I'm so sad my girl left me, I'm going to put on black eyeliner and I'm going to cut my wrist. Man, come on now.
Yeah, I think what happened was, at least with the grunge in the 90s, they had a valid point as to what they were complaining about, where now it's just first world problems. Just, all their songs are just...
I'm so sorry you don't have a TV in your third bedroom. Exactly.
Hey guys,
look, I don't know what to do. I went in my bathroom and I couldn't watch TV while I was taking a dump. My life's over. Get out of here.
I know. I only have the iPod 4. I don't have the iPod 5 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's go ahead and break again. We're gonna play the song "Hero," like I said, and when we come back, let's get into the meat of this band a little bit. All right.
All right.
We'll be right back on the Will and Thunder show with excuse me, with Sammy, the drummer of Madison Rising. This song is "Hero," and this is the one that they encourage politicians to use in their campaigns.
hero, someone to save us from ourselves and our own self-destruction. God only knows we need help. Looking for a hero, someone who cares about the future, not about themselves, but about the idea of America. We need a hero, someone to show the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We still believe this land of the free is still America. We still believe in the land of the free, and we need a miracle. You know this freedom is anything but free. What we have here depends on those who will fight for what they believe. When we stand together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. This nation of people standing as one in the name of liberty. We need a hero, someone to show us the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We still believe this land of the free is still America. We still believe in the land of the free, and we need a miracle. We need a miracle. We need a miracle. We need a hero, someone to show us the way. We need a hero who speaks for the people and what we have to say. We need a hero today. We need a hero
Alright, welcome back to the Will and Thunder Show. That, of course, was Madison Rising with their song Hero, that they encourage every politician running for office if they stand, if they stand for the Constitution, to use that in their campaign. That's a pretty gutsy move, and like I said earlier, I'm definitely going to contact Tom Tillis about it here in North Carolina.
Let's see if someone does that.
Yeah, I'm going to. I mean, I don't have a lot of influence, but I mean, I've got some because just because of the fact radio host. But I mean, I'm definitely going to see if I can get Tom Tillis to use that, and maybe it'll
very cool.
let him. Maybe it'll make him think a little bit about his platform, because I mean, he's kind of he's not my first choice, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But I mean, I wanted to I kind of wanted to get into the kind of the, like I said earlier, the meat of the band and everything. And and one thing that I know, one thing I know from reading the bio of Madison Rising is that Dave was a Navy corpsman. And, for my understanding is that job, that's not a very glamorous job in the U.S. military. They basically get to, they're basically on-field medics, am I right?
Yeah, he was a medic, and he worked with the Marines, I know. I think he was a 404 corpsman who's working with the sniper unit, I think. But yeah, I mean, the utmost respect, obviously, and it's been actually a really great experience being in a band with Dave.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if the song "Hallowed Ground," I don't have that one queued up and ready, but I wanted to ask the question anyway. Like the song "Hallowed Ground," is that wasn't that wasn't a personal song, was it?
Not to the best, no, not to my knowledge. But it was just something, that we felt was very relatable, and we felt like it was an underrepresented. Like, we should put that in a song, like how many songs you hear about that are in the rock genre,
Right.
So, it was something that just seemed like it had to be done, it was almost like a higher calling.
Well, basically, Hallowed Ground is...
There's two of them, too. Are you talking about the first one or the second one?
I'm talking about the first one. I'm going to get to the second one here in just a second. But basically, the first one is about, is basically the conversation between, a soldier that's mortally wounded on the field talking to the person that's trying to help him. And then the second one is that, is basically part two, where, after the guy, pays the ultimate sacrifice. What happens when, his wife and his family gets that knock at the door. And, the two very emotionally charged songs that, both of them kind of made me well up a little bit. And, because I've known people. I live in Fayetteville now, which is where 82nd Airborne is, but I've also lived in Clarksville, Tennessee, where the 101st Airborne is. So I've witnessed, I've been around this stuff. I've never been in the military myself, but I've been around, two major fighting units, and and I've heard, I've heard stories that would make your head spin. Dave has seen it and everything, and I'm sure that, well, I don't know if he's told you stories or not, but it's just, it's the songs like Hallowed Ground and Hallowed Ground 2, it really puts it into perspective for people that weren't there, people that have no idea what's going on, and I definitely commend you guys for doing a song like that. It's amazing. I just had to say that. It's just, it's a very, very moving song.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, taking songs like that, the truth in them is what, makes the song so, what's the word I'm looking for, powerful as it is. And, especially when you get to the point where, in the second song where, and it's talking about, where you have to go explain to the family that, their son, daughter, husband, has paid the ultimate sacrifice. But I had a conversation with my wife the other day. My youngest is 11 years old, and his dream and what he wants to do since he was 4 years old is he's going to join the service, and he wants to go fight for his country.
Well,
and my wife continuously tells me, you know how scary that is, and you know how dangerous that is, and what happens when you get that phone call or when you get that letter. I was like, you know what's going to happen that day? I'm going to be the saddest I've ever been in my life, but also the proudest. And it's a moment that, you know what, at this point in my life, you know, it terrifies me the thought of anything happening to my children. But it also makes me proud that 11 years old, he realizes that, you know what, it doesn't matter. And the funny thing about it is my son, 11 years old, and my 13-year-old were talking one day, and the 13-year-old, he wants to be an architect. And he said, well, if he doesn't make it as an architect, he'll probably be a lawyer. He looked at his little brother and said, well, what if you don't make it in the military? He's like, it doesn't matter because I won't be here. And I mean, at 11 years old, he understands the ramifications. He's not looking at it like a video game. He's looking at he's watching news. I drive around and I listen to talk radio sometimes, and the kids hate it. Don't get me wrong here, but he understands the reality of it. And he still, to this day, will walk around with an airsoft gun, and he ninja steps in the yard, and he's got that little, either machine gun or pistol or his little shotgun. And he's like, you know what? This will give you the right to be an architect, big brother. Build whatever you want to build. Yep. And it's, and as I said, it would be a sad moment, but a proud moment as well.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I've had someone tell me this whose dad was a cop, and I imagine it's kind of the same thing a little bit. When he got the tragic news that his father had been killed, doing his job, the first thing he said was, "Yeah, this is the worst day of my life." But on the other hand, now I never have to worry again about getting that call, because when your loved one is in that kind of job, that's all you ever worry about is, when is that call going to come? When's the hammer going to drop? And now he says, now I don't ever have to worry about that anymore. And I can be proud of my dad that he died doing what he loved, and, all of that. Right. So, yeah, I would imagine that it's a lot like that. It's not easy.
You don't know until you've experienced it,
Exactly. I mean, it takes a special type of person who has that in them to do something like that. Just like a teacher, it takes a special person to be able to sit in a room with 25-year-olds. I don't have that in me. They're as much as a hero to me as anybody else, but anyway.
Right.
But I mean, seriously, and for my son to say that, it was really, it was kind of cool. But as we were talking about that song being so intimate right there and real, it's just kind of like the same thing. You guys were doing it from the perspective of the soldier and the person helping him, and then you're doing it from the perspective of the person who lost that soldier. Actually, another big rock band has done a war song with the perspective of the soldier with one, talking about,
right.
At that point, after he has been decimated, he's no arms, no legs, no sight. And to do a song like that, you're coming along those same lines, but you're making it more real on, on a different level. That one was, based off a movie, not, the actual fighting grounds and what's really, the real deal of what's going on. But, there's another powerful rock song that, will make you really think about war right there, and, the ramifications of what happens on the battlefield.
What's interesting is there's an extension of Hologram 2, which the following track on American Hero, which is the second album we did, is called Reflection, parenthesis, PTSD. And that one that's like inside the mind of the soldier, and I don't know if you've heard that one, Reflection, and he's just kind of running through, like, 2 wives, like, 3 sons, but now they're all gone. It's like, that for me is almost like a third part of Hologram.
Right.
And that's the most, very emotional to, kind of, and when Dave wrote that, I was just like, oh my God, dude, like, this is crazy, like, this is amazing, but crazy, like, and we do it, and it's one of the most intense parts of the show when we perform that.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing too that they face, the soldiers, is when they come back from the war, you can't just go back, you can't go up the mountain and then climb back down like you never saw anything.
Right.
And I think that's why it's very difficult for they come back from war, and a lot of people they mean well, but a lot of people just say a lot of things and don't really stand by their actions. Like, I don't see, a lot of them go to these, you see a lot with the rock bands. They put up all this money for charity to help, but, when these guys come back home, where are they when, their house needs to be rebuilt, or they can't get medical care, or, it's an ongoing thing. It's not just when they're at war or when they're,
Right.
Yeah, true.
when they have all their limbs.
Yeah. Who was it that said, the one you guys mentioned before, or maybe Dave was even mentioning that a lot of other bands are starting to do some songs that are in support of the veterans now, and Five Finger Death Punch, who I'm not a huge fan of their music, but Five Finger Death Punch, they just put out a music video. It's on YouTube, and it's dedicated to the veterans. And in the beginning of the video, there's a couple of facts that appear across the screen, and they've got the numbers of like how many vets are homeless, and it was a call to action. And we're like, cool, I don't know if they've heard of Madison Rising, but maybe they have seen something that we've done, and maybe they got inspired to stand up for what they really believe in,
Or just like most of us, I'm sure they have loved ones or people they know that went to war or are in the military and have seen firsthand the stuff that happens to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the one sad thing is that, and it's been around as long as man's been around as war, which is a sad thing because, I mean, it's as easy as just turning your head and, letting you believe your beliefs, and another person, it's all, comes down to, religious beliefs or political beliefs. But it's one thing that we're not going to get rid of on an easy stance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's gotten worse, and the bombs get bigger, and guns get bigger, and it just gets kind of scary, man. I look at my children, and I grew up after in the era, but right after the missile crisis in Cuba and all that, and we went through the Cold War, but it was never a big issue when I was a kid. I mean, I never thought about it. But my kids will come home from school and they'll talk about, oh, well, this happened. I heard an American got beheaded. What's going on, Dad?
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary times right now.
Oh, yeah, it's with the whole ISIS thing. I mean, I don't even want to go there right now. It's pretty scary stuff.
Well, I do like as a society we are more open about speaking to our kids because, my boyfriend is several years older than I am, and he was saying as a kid, he was, a young kid when Vietnam was happening, and he said, honestly, if you were to tell me there was a war, I never knew it. Nobody ever talked about the war. Unless you knew somebody who went to war or had a relative, as far as I knew, there was no war. No one ever mentioned it. If it was on the news, I wasn't allowed to watch it. And I think that in a way, I like that our society has changed in a way that we're more open to talk about these real things that happen because it does affect all of us. And, kids should know about it. They're not as stupid as or as, naive or dumb as we might think they are sometimes.
Well, yeah, I was a camp counselor for 4 summers, so I learned a few things from the kids as well.
Right.
Look, I've got 6 kids, and I've learned more in the last 15 years of my life than I did in the first 25.
Wow.
And a lot of it's from the kids, man. I'm like, really? What? Huh? And I'll tell you what.
New knowledge.
Yeah, the things that kids grasp onto nowadays compared to when we were their age. It's just, God, when I was your age, I was...
especially technology-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
Technology, like you go buy a new smartphone, and you have a pamphlet that's the size of a phone book, and throw it away if you have a child. Just throw it away. Just hand your phone to your son or your daughter and say, how do you do this? And they're like, oh, right here. So here's an idea. We have a lot of homeless children in America, right? They're hungry. They're on the street. Instead of giving me the pamphlet, just give me a kid. I'll feed him, and he's making me use my smartphone the right way. We're good. 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's funny.
Well, let me let's go back to your, to your shows and everything. I know you guys are, I know you guys tour all over the place, and my daughter, I don't know if you saw my blog post or not, but from there's a picture on there of you guys went from that Fayetteville show when it was like 185,000 degrees out.
It keeps getting hotter every time you talk about it.
It was hot.
I'm just playing, buddy.
And there was no breeze like there is in Florida. But anyway, my daughter is in that picture. I mean, first thing that Madison Rising does, well, at least I don't know what they do in every show because I've only seen one show, but they, at this show, Dave called all the kids up to the front, and they opened their set with the Star Spangled Banner, and my daughter was up there and everything, and she's like having a blast. She loves music. She's a metalhead chick, and she's like only 4 years old. In fact, in that picture, I'm looking at it right now, she is the smallest. She's the shortest kid in that entire group, but when all the other kids, left the front and everything, she's still out there dancing around by herself and everything. But that's, is that every show? I mean, if there's a bunch of kids, do you guys call the kids up? I mean, like, because I know you guys play some pretty huge, like, stadium crowd appearances. So, I mean...
Yeah, if there's kids there, like, if there's some young kids, I mean, Dave usually will call them up and, he'll say, this one's for you guys. I mean, it's, I think it's a really cool thing, that he's been doing. It sets the precedent for what we're about as a band, and that we're really trying to, get through to the younger generations, because they're the ones that
shape
need
things
to
for the
really
future.
hear this message. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we'll see what happens at the next show. Every show is different, but I know that's something that Dave does try to do. He'll call the kids up.
That's awesome.
And that's a really cool concept right there, especially, because you're playing a song that, majority of kids, 10 and under, will not know. I mean, they're not going to know your song Hero. They're not going to know certain songs, but they know the Star Spangled Banner. Anybody who's anybody in America by 10 years old, even by 4 years old, their dad or somebody's watched a sporting event, and you've got the Star Spangled Banner, and they've told their kids, this is America's song right here. Stand up, do a salute or put your hand over your heart, take your hat off right there. And to bring the kids up there and give them the message that, America's still alive right here. We're at a rock concert, but this is America.
Yeah,
to do that and bring the kids up front right there, that's really noble right there. I mean, it's cool, and to get them involved in there.
Yeah, we want to be a good role model, which is something that a lot of pop stars are really not concerned about.
Right.
No, they are, and it's a sad thing is that they are role models, whether they want to be or not, and their actions definitely don't show it.
Yeah, and you're right. That's what I mean, is that they are by default role models, but they don't always set the best example.
Like something Will and I grew up on at what we're talking about music right here. We had MTV when we were kids, and nowadays it's teen pregnancy TV.
Oh man!
I mean, come on now.
Exists. I can't believe that show exists.
And the thing
Yeah,
is, the bands back then, don't listen to that Satan music. It turns out it was probably better for us than these teen moms.
Exactly. Oh, don't listen to Ozzy. You're going to end up as a devil worshiper and pregnant. Oh, really?
Right.
Now, 20 years later, you got the pregnant girls on there, and they don't even listen to Ozzy. They're listening to Justin Bieber. Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, man.
God.
Throw the Ozzy albums. Put Black Sabbath back on there and play it backwards. You might not get pregnant.
No, damn it.
That's the whole bit right there.
I'm trying to figure out if it says anything.
Oh, God.
That's the whole segment, man. That's great.
That's good stuff. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and kind of wrap this up here over the next few minutes. Let's tell tell us where to get your music?
Yeah, you can go on iTunes, Amazon. You can also go to our website, madisonrising.com. You can go to, I think we're on Spotify also. We've got the online store through the website. That's probably the best way to get it. But yeah, it's
Which
all
one
over
gives
the
you the
internet.
best? Which one gives you the most money? That's the one we want to promote. The one that gives you the most money.
If you go direct to the Madison Rising website, there's an online store that's our store, the Madison Rising store. That's where you can purchase like physical copies of the CDs, and I think also some downloads too. So definitely want to check that out.
Okay, MadisonRising.com, right?
Yep. And if you'd like to join the militia, you can go to the Facebook Madison Rising militia page, and that's our street team. We're starting to build a great network around the country. We have a lot of super fans out there who have just been very gracious to us and have offered up their homes to let the band even stay over for a night or two if needed. We're building a whole. It's a revolution. I mean, it's really an amazing thing what's happening and bringing the community together.
That's
Very cool.
Well, we're gonna break real quick, and we're gonna play "America the Beautiful," and then we'll when we come back from that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Sound like a plan?
Very
Sounds like a
awesome
plan.
talking to you guys.
Let's listen to America Beautiful, then we'll say our goodbyes and all the good stuffs and the thank yous and all that. So let's go ahead and now, guys, I want you to really take a listen because this is a great rendition of America the Beautiful.
It is.
You've heard so many versions, especially, during the Super Bowls and through, NASCAR races and everything. But this right here is one of the best ever done right here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely in my top 3, and I've heard some pretty powerful versions of that. This one is in my top 3. This is America the Beautiful by Madison Rising, and we'll be right back on the Will and Thunder Show.
Whoa, beautiful, whoa, spacious sky, for amber waves of grain. Oh, purple mountains, majesty, across the brooding plains. I'm talking about America, America. God shed His grace on thee and crown thy goodwill, brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Whoa, beautiful, oh,
and Thunder shows. That was Madison Rising with their version of America the Beautiful. And like I said before we took that break, that is in my top 3. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome.
I mean, you got to take the original version, we all sang in school. We remember that one. And then, as Will and I were talking earlier, man, Ray Charles killed it.
Oh, yeah, I do like that version, too. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And then you guys are in there, too. So, and as we say top 3, we're not going to say which are the best of the top 3 right there. We're just going to throw them in there.
Exactly.
We're not here to judge. We're here just to talk to you. But, Sammy, man, been a pleasure talking with you, man. It's great that you guys, first of all, you guys play great music. Second of all, you keep America in mind and try to keep America invigorated on the ideals, of our forefathers right there. And we appreciate you guys being out there supporting the troops and supporting, the country right there.
Yeah, it really has been an amazing journey thus far, and right back at you guys. I mean, we really appreciate you having us on the show, and it was definitely, I really had a fun time talking to you guys. You guys are a hoot.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, I had a
we like
blast.
to say, we try and be the type of radio show that you feel like you're just sitting on someone's back porch and we're just shooting the shit, man.
Yeah. I need some lemonade, and we're good to go.
Well, all right, man. Well, let me go pour you a big old glass right there with some sweet tea. I'm from Tennessee. We got lemonade and sweet tea.
Perfect. I do like the sweet tea. We don't. I'm
real
from New
quick.
Jersey. We don't have that up here.
Wow, sweet tea? God, I don't know what I'd do
Absolutely.
without sweet tea.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's around, but it's not as good.
Oh, okay.
And down here, it's more like,
so
it depends on where you go, 'cause
tell us
sometimes it's like syrup.
Yeah.
Tell us about your shows. Tell us about your shows. Those of you listening online, we're about a minute and a half. We're going to go away, but the show in its entirety will be on YouTube here sometime tonight. We're just going to wrap it up here. We're just about we'd rather finish it up and take like 3 or 4 minutes rather than just trying to cram it. We've got to, so about a minute from now it's going to cut out, but I mean it'll be back on YouTube sometime tonight, and you'll be able to hear.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys got coming up gig-wise?
Gig-wise,
Yeah.
let's see. We've got, actually, I'm going to be in the city tomorrow, but the band, that's just an interview. That's on the Patriot station, actually, of Sirius XM, so that should be cool.
When?
And then we've
When is
got
that?
a show tomorrow. I think 1:30 p.m. is the airtime.
That'll be working.
That's all good. I'm sure it'll be online, or I'm sure you could access it at a later time. And then we also got Indiana next week, and it's near Indianapolis. I think Goodland or Greenland, Indiana, or something. I gotta look at the schedule. We've been very busy, and my brain is kind of fried.
Well, I know you guys are coming back. I know you guys are coming back to North Carolina here in like October or something.
Yeah,
So-
we'll be back. We've been to North Carolina quite a few times now. It's one of our home bases. So
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely gonna make sure I make it out to at least one of your shows. I'm gonna try to make it out to more than one, but man, if one's all I can do.
yeah, well, we look forward to seeing you there, man.
All right. Well, wrapping it up. Chris, do you have anything you wanna say to wrap it up?
Oh, just it was great talking to you guys. You guys got some really good music, and keep up the good work, and have a good show in your next gig.
Thanks, yeah. I hope you guys have us on the Block Talk again. We'll until that time, farewell.
Absolutely, we will definitely have you on again at some point. I mean, this is a fun interview. We'd like to have at some point. I mean, I'd like to have
An interview with a guitar player so you guys can talk guitar, and then I can bust your balls with that because we were
whole
talking
band,
rhythm and blues and, the
band
basic.
on. The whole
I'm
band
just playing
on.
anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, look, He's just raining on our parade right there. Hey, by the way, Sam, keep rocking on with the drums, man. Hitting the skins, man. Love
Will do.
the rhythm section, brother. Anyway, thanks, guys, for being a part of the show, man. We appreciate you guys coming on and spreading your word right there. And we look forward to talking to you in the future and seeing where you guys have been done and what you guys are going to be doing in the future. So thanks once again for being a part of this.
So right on. Hey, thanks so much, guys.
And tell the guys
right.
I'll see you guys at some point in Orlando. Did I just say Orlando? I said
Yeah,
Orlando.
you did.
I'm at North
Freudian slip.
Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Florida. I'm trying to get back home to Florida, and that's like forefront on my mind. So, yeah.
We got you, brother.
Anyway, tell the guys that I will be. I will see you guys at some point in North Carolina.
Sounds good to me.
All right, and thanks for being on the show, and we'll definitely be in touch.
Cool.
All right, well, I'm sorry about that. I tried to jump in right there before everybody was done saying goodbye. Anyway, well, thanks, guys, for tuning into the Will and Thunder show. We appreciate it. Next week, we'll have another exciting show for you. Who do we have on next week there, Mr. William Telltale? Or did I put you on the spot on that one?
You put me on the spot on that one. I'm gonna.
Well, then you guys will have to wait till next week to find out. It's like a suspense right there. But it will be William Telltale, Kevin Thunder, and Christiana, the rock chick. I said it right this time. It only took me a couple hours to get it down, but anyway, here we go. Thank you guys for being a part of this.
Thanks to Madison Rising for being on. They're the awesome band, and that's it. And we're gonna play the previous recorded outro right now.
All right, good night, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Will and Thunder Show. The band that's going to take us out is Beyond the Fade from Charlotte, North Carolina. You can find them at Beyond the Fade at Twitter and also at Facebook, Beyond the Fade. The song's called Lights Out, and they're going to take us out. Thank you for listening to the Will and Thunder Show. We'll be back next week, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern till midnight, with another awesome guest for you. Later.